Thank you for joining us on American Medicine Today. I'm Kimberly Brumell-Bonati, joined by Ethan Euchre.
I'm glad to be here.
And Jeff Wagstaff.
Thank you for having me, Kimberly.
And world-renowned orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Alfred Bonati.
Hi.
Hi. We're going to talk about opioid addiction. It's an epidemic right now, and here in America. And joining us right now is Kate Genovese, who has a very personal story to tell us about. And she's the author of Hat Tricks from Heaven, which details her son's accidental overdose at the age of only 30. Thanks for being here, Kate.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Kate, your son Christopher, which everybody called Gino, he was a bit of a golden boy. He was a really good kid, into sports, doing really well. Tell us about him and what led to his eventual addiction.
Gino was a really good kid. Never expected this to happen. He was into hockey and football, all sorts of sports, and he got an award so that he could go to a high school. He had 6 injuries in high school and college, hockey injuries. During that time, he got addicted to Percocets. But, we didn't know it because he did live away. Okay. And he kept donating them because he had pain, obviously, so he had them. Brought my attention to it. One of the doctors he had shoulder surgery and wanted a prescription, and he was home on break. I said, I don't think you need another prescription. It's been 3 weeks. Okay. I don't think you need any more Percocets. Mm-hmm. But he insisted, so he went to the doctor, and I was with him. And I told the doctor, addiction runs in my family. I don't feel comfortable. I think he should switch over to Motrin. Okay. And the doctor just kind of I was taken aback by him. He said, are you kidding me? He has shoulder surgery, and it's very painful. Don't be a helicopter mother. He needs this.
So the doctor was on Gino's side that, yes, he needs more pills when your instinct says, no, he does not.
Absolutely. But he took them. He gave it to him, and we filled the prescription. But what I did is I went to the school nurse, and I told her, and I said, could you please hold on to these for him and give him as ordered? They were 1 or 2 every 4 hours. Sure. Because I'm sure he would have taken more. Mm-hmm. Wow. And, from then on, he went on to college. And, it was hard to tell if anything was wrong because I only saw him, at the hockey games and when he came home. And he seemed okay. And then when he got out of college, he was living on his own. He had a girlfriend. He had a good job. I didn't realize it, but he was very addicted. Finally, his roommate called me and told me how addicted Gino was. And this himself was also addicted, and he was going to Florida to get some help. So my husband called him and went up to get him at his apartment, and Gino did admit he had a problem. So we decided to take him home. We cleared out his apartment and took him home. So he was 27, and it was 3 years of hell. We didn't realize how bad he was.
Didn't he eventually transition from Percocet and opioids into, well, I guess they're still opioids, into fentanyl and then eventually heroin, correct?
When he couldn't get any more prescriptions from the doctors because he had no more injuries from hockey, he had to go out in the street. And that's when we found needles in his room, and he was on fentanyl and heroin. Wow. And we tried to get him help. We called every place in Massachusetts at the time, and there were no beds. So we wanted to send him to Florida. We found a bed there, and he was on probation. There's much more to the story. And the probation officer and the judge would not let him go elsewhere out of the state for help, even though we had a bed for him. So he came home. He stayed with us. He was on house arrest at the time. Yeah. So he stayed here, and it just got worse. And he would run away every time we mentioned going into a facility. And finally, it was Memorial Weekend, and I went away for the weekend. My husband stayed here, and he had to be home at 10 o'clock. That was the rule. And he watched TV with my husband just an ordinary night. But my husband went to bed, and 3 hours later, Gino was found by my husband, Gary, on the floor in the den. And it was too late.
Now, Kate, listen, I really wish we had a lot more time because just Gino's story alone should require an entire segment here, but we don't. Tell us what inspired you to write the book and what you hope people can take away from Hat Tricks from Heaven.
Sure, yeah. I decided I was overwhelmed and so sad, but I didn't want to just sit around and, mope around and feel sorry for myself because of this. And I am a writer. I've written other books, so I decided I'm writing a book about this. And I feel like I was inspired by my son. I know he wanted me to write this. It will help other parents. It will show what the legal system is doing wrong. It's showing what I did wrong as a parent and giving suggestions what to do. Schools need to be more aware, as in the legal system, police. Everybody needs to be aware of this horrible epidemic that is happening in the United States. And it's terrible in Massachusetts, but I think there's 22 million addicts in the United States right now. And the overdoses are just incredible.
It seems to me like your mother's intuition told you. So that's just a testament out there to any parents. If they really have that gut-wrenching feeling something's going on, don't let a doctor or anyone else tell you differently. Do
Absolutely.
what's right by your own child.
Follow your
I wish
instincts.
that I had listened to myself with that.
I am so sorry for your loss. Unfortunately, we are out of time. Thank you so much, Kate Genovese, author of Hat Tricks from Heaven, which details her son acciddental overdose at the age of 30.
Tragic
Thank you
story,
so
but-
much for being on the program and sharing
Oh, thank you so
your
much.
story.
Appreciate it. Have a good one, Kate.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
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 And you keep hearing stories like that. I mean, it's ridiculous.
That's just gut-wrenching.